Toxic masculinity. Let's talk about it. Welcome to my channel, Young Manhood. And today we're talking about that hot button issue today, which is toxic masculinity. And I do get where mainstream society is coming from as far as what their concerns are in regards to how certain men behave, as far as what they consider toxic masculinity. I do get that. But my primary issue with the whole discussion of toxic masculinity today is that all masculinity is now being seen as an issue. If a man or a young boy or a young teen male growing up isn't just a complete softie today, if he isn't just one of them, I need my mama, I need a hug type of man all the time, a type of male all the time, if he's not just a complete soft man that just basically just does what he's told, he's a good little boy all the time, as far as you can boss him around like he's nothing. I'm noticing that those men, they're never seen as toxic. The men with zero leadership skills are not seen as toxic. The men that are very controllable are never seen as toxic. The men that are very weak are never seen as toxic, for the most part, by mainstream society. And what I'm defining as weak is that you're a very easily controllable man. That's what I'm defining as weak in this context. But of course, as far as toxic masculinity goes in other aspects, you should never be abusive as a man towards anybody in your life. Don't be abusive towards men. Don't be abusive towards women. Don't be abusive towards people, period. I mean, protect yourself, stand up for yourself, but as a man, you shouldn't be abusing people, period. And if people aren't treating you the way that you desire to be treated, why are you dealing with this person in the first place? And as a man, really what you need to be doing is, if someone is not giving you the treatment that you desire, they're not complying with what you desire, move on. Deal with the next person. Stop dealing with them altogether. And this includes family members. You need to step away from the people that aren't treating you with the respect that you believe that you deserve to be treated with. So if that's the issue. So as a man, you should never be abusive. So there's really no excuse for a man to be abusive to anybody. So whatever has him acting in that manner, masculinity itself is not the issue. It's that man is the issue. That individual is the issue. That person has a lot of other issues within themselves that's making them act in that way. But masculinity within itself is a good thing. Just like femininity in itself is a good thing. It's not a bad thing. I see it as a yin and yang thing, the masculine and the feminine. These are two very real things, very needed things in society. And masculinity isn't something that should be taken out of men. It should not be destroyed in young men coming up, because masculinity is part of a man's role in life. Masculinity is what helps a man fulfill his gender role, which that is to be the protector. Men are the protectors in society, and that's actually how nature intends it to be. Nature intended for men to act as the protectors. And if you are like, oh, how do you know that? All you have to do is just look at every single mammal within the animal kingdom and look at the males. With every single animal in the animal kingdom among mammals, look at the dynamics between males and females. And yes, human beings are mammals. Yes, we're mammals. and we're still part of the animal kingdom as well. And when you look at the dynamics between the male and the female, the male was always the protector. Always. So that is the man's gender role. And masculinity is a much needed aspect of a man's gender role. And it is something that shouldn't be stomped out in a man. It's something that should be cultivated by men that have the proper definition of manhood, which is their philosophy and mindset that guides them. And their natural masculinity needs to be cultivated in the proper way that they can properly fulfill their role as a man in society. And those are just a few of my thoughts on this subject, and I will definitely revisit this in the future.